Welcome to this edition of Chelmsford High School's Lions Pride. Let's meet our deans and our students of the month. Now we'll turn over to Whittier House for Dean John MacIsaac to introduce Whittier's Students of the Month.
Thank you, Principal Murray. Our first student of the month is Brendan Keough. Brendan is currently enrolled in AP Government and Politics, AP Literature and Composition, AP French, Honors Spanish 2, Calculus, Reality Check, Holocaust, and Genocide. Brendan has been recognized as an honors student, is a member of the National Honor Society, and is the president of the CHS chapter of the Best Buddies. He's involved with Mystic River Rugby, where he has started a new passion of playing the sport of rugby here at the high school. He's volunteered at St. Mary's Church as a parishioner. And then also, he attended the 2023 National Best Buddies Conference this past summer, which we want to hear more about. Outside of that, he loves watching sporting events, especially the Bruins and the Red Sox, and loves learning about different cultures and different places and traveling to see these games. After CHS, he doesn't know where he's going to be attending school, but he's hoping to major in international relations and eventually work in the United Nations or in the government. He has two great offers with Suffolk University and Seton Hall currently, but he's still waiting on a few more to come through. Brendan, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we start, the work that you've done with Best Buddies, Unified Basketball, it's unmatched. And as a school, we greatly appreciate all the efforts and work that you put in and like the heart and the involvement that it takes to do those things. Walk us through the program this past summer, this conference that hopefully you brought some stuff back to the school.
So I joined Best Buddies in sophomore year, and basically what like Best Buddies is you just you meet 2 times a month with everyone, and you get paired with like a classmate who has an intellectual or developmental disability, and from there you sit next to them and you talk to them, and it's called like a peer-to-peer friendship, and like Best Buddies has 4 pillars. It's peer-to-peer friendships, integrated employment, and inclusion, and inclusive living. So I didn't really know any of that until I became president, and they basically told me that we want you to be president, and I was like, oh, nice. And then they said, you're going to have to go to this conference in Indiana. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was kind of terrifying because I had to go alone. But they took care of me as soon as I got there. So it was,
that's great.
And it was great. It was very eye-opening. I saw they had this girl who had Downs, and she could sing, and it was unbelievable. Her talent was crazy. So I learned all the 4 pillars that I mentioned, and it really prepared me for what I am expected to do as president. So yeah.
Thank you for all your work with that.
What's been the most rewarding experience with Best Buddies?
So the most rewarding experience was probably just like seeing. So my buddy's name is Lucas Farrell, and we always sit together, and it's really fun to see him laugh all the time. And we were making gingerbread houses, and he kept on laughing because his thing kept falling down, and it was just really fun to see Lucas laugh. So probably that, but also like the Unified program, that's really cool because there's always like a player who is gonna score a lot. Jack Feeney, he scored a lot, but it's always really rewarding to see someone who doesn't really score at all, or like they always pass the ball away, and you go, no, come on, and they get the ball, and they finally get it in. That's most rewarding. That's really cool.
That's great. Big wrestling match, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah,
for Lucas.
I'm going. I'm so happy about it. I saw that last night, and
Yes.
I turned to my sister and said, you have to come with me.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Well,
You,
last question.
real quick, so your future path, UN, government, that's a bold move for, 17, 18-year-old kid. What has kind of led us in that direction before we wrap up?
It started with like COVID and stuff, so I think being home made me realize I don't want to be home, and I started watching, Rick Steves?
Yes.
I started watching a lot of Rick Steves, and Anthony Bourdain, a lot of that. So I realized that's it was wicked cool, so I was like, I kind of want to do that. So from there, it just kind of like spiraled. I joined Model UN, and I liked like diplomacy and stuff, and so I decided, all right, I should probably, if I like it so much, I should probably try to get a job in it. So,
Good for you.
yeah, that's basically how that went.
You got a bright future.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Thanks for all the work you do with Best Buddies.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, congratulations on being one of the Students of the Month. On behalf of the Chelmsford administration, we're really proud of you.
Yeah,
Best of luck
thank you.
this year.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And we'll turn it back to Dean MacIsaac to introduce Whittier's second Student of the Month.
Thank you, Principal Murray. Our second student of the month for January is Brinley Williamson. Brinley is currently enrolled in AP Literature, AP Environmental Science, AP Psychology, and AP Seminar. Also Clay Studio, Intro Statistics, and Nutrition. Brinley is fantastic in the classroom, earning high honors, being a member of the National Honor Society and the National English Honor Society. Outside of the classroom, she's very involved with the CHSTv club, often in front of the camera or behind the camera. She's been an anchor for CHSTv 719 News. She's been the producer and leader of 719 News team, and the founder, producer, and host of CHS The Vibe Instagram show. It's a big hit. She's an avid dancer at D&E right down the street. And then she also does a lot of volunteering at Household Goods in Acton, packaging dish sets for families in need, and does some work over at Trader Joe's in Acton, just down the road. After life at CHS, she plans to study communication. She hopes to work in advertising or design and eventually take upon a leadership role in that field. Brinley, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Kind of walk us through kind of your process here at the high school and getting involved with the CHSTv club and all the different outlets you've used in that production group.
Yeah. So originally, when I auditioned for the 719 newscast the first time, I thought it was something completely different. I went into it thinking it was going to be more of a theater type thing, and looking back, I can't see myself in theater at all, so it's kind of funny. But freshman year, I just wanted to get involved with something, and I got pretty close with Elizabeth Silva, who was our former news producer, and she kind of helped me along the way to get involved with the club. As soon as I did my first newscast, I loved it, and she really appreciated me being there, and we worked as a team for a long time as the co-anchors. And then when she graduated, she kind of helped me as a mentor to get into that leadership role of news producer and continue anchoring, and I've loved every second of it. It's taught me a lot about both confidence and leadership and skills that I'll definitely use going forward.
Nice. What have been like the highs and the lows, maybe through COVID, post-COVID,
Yeah.
like with working through the TV world?
Yeah, well, I definitely, I started doing anchoring kind of around the peak of COVID, which was super weird. We would sit on like very opposite ends of the desk. It would be a split screen shot. And then going into like the recovery from COVID, we would start to sit closer together. It would be more of like a friendly thing. And so just adapting to being in person more, getting to be close with people. Also when conducting interviews, going from doing them on Zoom to doing them in person was a big step because, you know, it's a lot more nerve-wracking when you're sitting right in front of a person having to talk to them instead of just in your own house on Zoom. And so I think being in person for a lot of TV stuff just kind of helped me with communication skills and confidence as well.
The Instagram show.
Yeah.
Give a quick plug for it and kind of tell us what it's all about.
Yeah, sure. So CHS The Vibe, I started in sophomore year, and it kind of grew out of looking at the content that we produce with TV and saying, none of this is like just purely fun. It's all great, it's all super informative, but there's nothing that we have that's just like a fun time and there's no other purpose behind it. And I was actually talking to my parents at dinner, and they were like, if you had your own show, it would be called The Vibe, because that was just like something that I would say a lot. And I kind of just implicated that. And so it's a combination of student opinion clips with then my own hosting back here in the studio. And we talk about the most random things. We did an episode called Hot Chocolate and Hot Takes, where everyone would give a hot take and then we would give them a cup of hot chocolate. And that one was a big hit.
Was that right before the holiday season?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, yeah.
Good timing, good timing. Walk us through kind of your educational experience here. Like, you've taken some very high level classes. You're an AP Sem this year. Like, what have those classes look like?
Yeah.
And kind of what has led you to look towards communications in the future?
Mm-hmm. So I definitely knew from elementary school that I wasn't going to be, you know, a woman in STEM. That was never really my focus. I was always on the humanities side. I've been writing since I was a really little kid, and it's been a huge part of my life. And so getting into high school, I realized that I wanted to focus more on the humanities side of classes. I think my favorite class that I've taken in all my years here has been AP Lit. I've only been there for like less than one semester, but I absolutely love it. It's really changed my outlook on how a class can function. It functions a lot like a college level course. It's like very discussion based, and it kind of eliminates all of the like busy work that I do in a lot of my other classes. And I've just absolutely loved it. It's a really intelligent way of looking at literature and something that I feel like I've been waiting for my whole school career.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, time is up, believe it or not. Our 5 minutes went by fast. So I want to say congratulations on behalf of the Rotary Club, which sponsors this, and on behalf of Chelmsford High Administration. We wish you a lot of luck the rest of this year. Welcome. I'd like to introduce Dean MacNeil, Dean of Emerson House, to introduce Emerson's Students of the Month.
One of our first students of the month for January is Jack MacPhee. Jack, thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course.
Not only are you very well-rounded with your academics, you've taken some AP courses, you dabble in some clubs, but your true, I think, passions from what I've seen is on the court and in the pool. Can you talk about how you got involved in swimming and in volleyball and what that's been like for your high school career?
Yeah, so for both of the sports, volleyball I'll start with because that's kind of like my primary. I think it was sophomore year because freshman year I didn't really do anything because of COVID. But in my plus block, one of my best friends, his name's Royce, and he was playing volleyball, and just our whole plus block, he was like, just come try out. So we all kind of showed up at the tryout. It went pretty well. I ended up making varsity. My starting year I played swing, so I practiced with varsity and played JV. And that kind of like I was like, okay, this is something I could probably be good at, because it was already something that people were recognizing me as, like, with the right amount of training, I could probably like succeed. So I played that season. It was pretty fun. I mean, it was JV, so it was just kind of have fun and do whatever. And then the next season was a little bit more serious. So I kind of started it, and I was like, all right, well, maybe this is something that I want to like take to the next level. So I started playing club outside of that, and I don't know. I've just been playing ever since. Super fun. And then for swim, that I just started this year. Definitely an interesting decision. It's hard, but I don't know. I like working hard. I think that's one of my favorite things to do, because after every practice, I'm always tired, but I feel good afterwards.
What made you want to join senior year swimming?
A couple of my friends are captains, and they were like, "You just look like a swimmer. You'd be great."
Yeah,
So I just totally.
Peer pressure at its finest.
Yeah, peer pressure.
That's true.
Correct.
Speaking of pressure, senior year's pressure, trying to figure out what you want to do next year. What ideas you have in terms of what you want to study and perhaps where you want to go?
I'm not too sure on where I want to go yet, because I wasn't very proactive when it came to looking for colleges, so I kind of left that to last minute. But I do know that I probably want to study computer science, or like I just kind of recently narrowed it down to cybersecurity, just because I feel like it's very relevant, and like everybody needs some person with a computer science background. So I think it's just the place to be right now.
Will you be going close by, you think, or are you going to far away, or?
So I've always wanted to kind of get out of Massachusetts and kind of see where I could go. Kind of when I had to apply, though, it kind of took me by surprise because I wasn't very proactive. And I just applied to colleges around here. So all of the colleges that I've gotten into so far are around here. And now I'm going to apply in like a week or so and just try and get a couple that are just like anywhere outside of Massachusetts.
Good for you. That's great.
Yeah.
If you can look back, this is your 3.5 years in. Has there been an adult in this 3.5 years that has kind of shaped you into who you are today?
I mean, one of the most notable for me is my plus block teacher, Mr. Pecora. I've developed such a close relationship with him, and I feel like every time I went into plus block, it was like I didn't feel like I was really in school, because it kind of felt like I was in a living room almost, where it was super relaxed in there. All my friends were in there, and then he would always just kind of show us, like if he thought something was funny or interesting, he would pull it up on the board and he'd be like, "Oh, check this out." So he was just somebody I could talk to on a more personal level rather than like a teacher to student. So,
what advice would you give to an incoming freshman next year, based on your experiences here?
I mean, everybody always says get involved, and I always thought it was super annoying. Like growing up, I was like, everybody says this, it's super annoying, and I wish they'd stop saying it. But now, like, I see why, because I've met some pretty cool people just by showing up to random places. And, like, you never kind of know what you're going to find. Like, volleyball was just like I guess I'll try it out, because I didn't have a spring sport, and some of my best friends are on that team.
Yeah.
And then swim, too. It's just, I don't know. I probably would never have met all of these like incoming students that are like super fun, and I love hanging out with them. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I want to say that on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, which sponsors the program, and Chelmsford High administration, I want to say congratulations on being one of Emerson House's Students of the Month. We're really proud of you.
Thank you.
Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
And now I'll turn it back to Dean MacNeil to introduce the second Student of the Month from Emerson.
Emerson's second Student of the Month for January is Ethan Bean. Ethan, thank you for being here. You are so strong in the classroom. You are committed to the community of Chelmsford with your tech work that you do. But as mentioned when you came in here, you are always behind the camera. How does it feel to be sitting in front of the camera today?
Well, heart's beating pretty fast. I'm surprised I can get words out of my mouth. Hopefully it's the last time in front of the camera.
So, in thinking of your career, 3.5 years here at Chelmsford High School, what classes stood out that you'd say, hey, I think every kid should take this class. It's one that really energized you.
If you want to go for a club, got to go with TV Club. They're here right now. They're filming with us, behind the scenes all the time. There's a lot of great people there. You're going to make a lot of good memories. If you want to go down this path, I think it's a very
What did you
good
like most
opportunity.
about the TV Club?
I like the live events sections, like especially during football, when you go out for the game, just nice and, just have a lot of fun during.
We often get comments
Yeah.
at the professional production of ours, so it's amazing what this TV crew and Chelmsford Media does, so thank you.
Yes. So out of, you have the clubs, and I know you work for Chelmsford's tech department as well, right? What do you do? It's two different things? Or what is that?
Chelmsford Tech, it's the audio and the lighting perspectives of the theater, both in the PAC and at McCarthy. So you are responsible for making what each client's vision for their production, making that reality with what you have at your disposal.
How did you get into that?
So I started out, I think, sophomore year in the theater department. I was working backstage with saws and paint and all that stuff, all again behind the scenes. So I found out about the tech, and I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. I want to do the lighting and maybe the audio. I'm not an audio guy, by the way. I like lighting. Lighting is the best. It's the coolest. So yeah, that's how I started down that path, and I really enjoy it.
Do these interests are going to lead you toward anything in college, and what are your plans there?
I think I might want find an interest in continuing down the theater department in college. I'm not sure if they'll have such a great TV crew as this, but I might find something that I like there, yeah.
So what are you looking for in colleges where, and what your possible major would be at this point?
I'm not really sure where. Colleges all have very great options. I am interested in a computer science-based program, cybersecurity, to be more specific. It seems just like a really great career field to go into. A lot of job openings.
True.
Are you going to stay around here, or you think you're going to go far away?
I'm gonna just go far away,
Go far away.
Within New York, nothing South New York, but yeah.
That's right. Well, believe it or not, our time is up. 5 minutes went fast. So on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, which sponsors the program, and the Chelmsford High administration, congratulations on being one of Emerson House's Students of the Month. We're really proud of you. And best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
And now we're going to move to Hawthorne House, and we have Dean Christina Mitza, the Dean of Hawthorne House, to introduce her students.
Thank you, Principal Murray. So Stella Lamson is one of our Students of the Month for January. Stella has been excelling in many different areas here at CHS since she started, academics, activities, and along with taking on many leadership roles. So right now, Stella is taking a rigorous course load, including AP Psychology, AP Calculus, AP Literature and Composition, AP Spanish, Language and Culture, Introduction to Organic Chemistry, and Environmental Studies, and Digital Music. So you're very busy right now,
Yes,
Stella,
for
for sure. I think that, all of this hard work has brought her into many different, honor societies, including the National Honor Society, the Science National Honor Society, the National English Honor Society, and the World Language Honor Society. Stella had mentioned that one of the teachers who had a really big impact on her was one of her former English teachers, Mr. Shea. Mr. Shea had nothing but wonderful things to say about you, Stella. He said that you are an extraordinarily bright, confident, and dedicated person. And as he has gotten to know you over the course of 3 years, he can confidently say that you love learning for the sake of learning. You will continue discussions beyond the walls of the classroom and dedicate yourself to find answers to the burning questions that you have. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience in Mr. Shea's class and why he's had such an impact on you?
Yeah, for sure. So I've had him for 2 years. I had him sophomore and junior year, and I think, I'm a STEM person for sure, but it was definitely really interesting when I started his class sophomore year, how much I loved it and how challenged I was with it. I was never really a big reader until I had his class. And I remember it was like halfway through sophomore year, I was like, wow, I just want to pick up a book now. And like going now into senior year, I chose AP Lit because of him, pretty much, because I wasn't planning on taking it. I was going to take environmental science, but then I took AP Lit instead because he suggested it to me, and now I'm interested going into college, maybe minoring in philosophy and like focusing on courses like that. So definitely I don't know what the word is, but definitely broadened my view of things.
Of literature,
sure.
especially.
Yes, for
yeah,
literature.
That's great. Awesome. And then outside of the classroom, you do many things. You're part of the Give Club, and also especially part of, right here at the TV production studio. You want to tell us a little bit about your experience here?
Yeah, of course. My first leadership role here was getting reporting lead sophomore year, which meant a lot to me because it was like we just made the position. And I've always been really interested in reporting in TV. I know a lot of people in TV are more like the technical aspects of it, but I've always just loved being on camera and like the journalism aspect of it. Once again, Mr. Shea definitely helped me with that, but I've definitely progressed up the ladder as I'm here, and it's just taught me a lot about leadership, especially with meetings. We're very organized here, and it's definitely helped me even outside in the classroom and outside of the classroom.
Great.
I noticed that you're involved, as Dean Mitza said, and you have so many AP classes, high-level classes. What do you do outside of school that brings your joy? And maybe the AP classes are joy as well, but what things do you do that excite you that you might carry forward when you go to college next year?
So definitely, number one, when you said that, I was thinking of crocheting. I crochet a lot. I'm surprised I'm not wearing something crocheted today because definitely it's a way to express myself, helps me with my emotions for sure. I started like during COVID and I haven't really stopped since. I have an Instagram and I don't know, I just have a lot of fun doing that, and like I look forward to doing that when I get home today. Probably gonna go home on the half day and start crocheting. I do a little bit of upcycling, especially when I was a kid. I used to have a bin of like trash, not actual trash, but like things that were described by my family, and I would make things out of that. And so, yeah, I love being creative and a bunch of different hobbies.
You're quite involved, and you're a really shining star. And I want to say on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, who sponsors the program, congratulations on being one of the Students of the Month. On behalf of the Chelmsford administration, we're really proud of you. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Now I'll turn it back to Dean Mitza to introduce the second Student of the Month from Hawthorne House.
Thank you, Principal Murray. So second Student of the Month for Hawthorne House is Matthew Kaplan. Welcome, Matthew. I know that you've definitely been contributing a lot to CHS since your start here as a freshman. Academic success, extracurricular activities, athletics program, and you also, have some fun hobbies on the side. So one of the parts of CHS here, of course, is working at your academic success, and right now you're in some pretty rigorous classes as a senior. How's that going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of work at home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the library probably every day, so
okay.
I'm very deep into my studies.
Yep. So you're keeping up with AP Environmental Science, AP Psychology, AP Spanish Language and Culture, AP English 12, AP Calculus, Introduction to Digital Photography, and American History through Film.
Yeah.
So quite a bit,
Yeah.
quite a bit. I know one of the teachers that you mentioned who has had an impact on you is Miss Sullivan, the history teacher.
Yep.
And she had just nothing but wonderful things to say about you. She said you are a wonderful young man and that you understand the importance of studying history and that you realize the importance of being an informed person.
Yeah.
Do you find that class interesting and ask lots of questions about different pieces of history?
American history through film is fun because, you know, you're watching movies all the time, but Miss Sullivan makes it so that it has like real applications to, especially what I learned in AP US history last year. Like right now, a few months ago, we watched The Godfather, which when I first thought about it, I was like, that has nothing to do with history. But when she talked about, you know, a lot of the mobs in New York and stuff like that, we did learn about in AP US history. So I just find it interesting how she seems to relate movies that I would have originally thought had nothing to do with it to back to history.
Great. And so I know you do a lot outside, including you've been a class representative for 3 years,
Yep.
which is great. You're part of the CHS mock trial. And I know you're also a part of the athletics here, so varsity hockey and lacrosse.
Yep.
Hockey season's in full effect right now. How's your season going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah?
You know, we have a big week this week against Andover and Shrewsbury,
Okay.
so excited for that.
Yeah. How do you feel like hockey, or your sports, I should say, here at CHS have helped you grow as a person?
I think it's really just taught me how to balance my responsibilities. I mean, it's kind of hard to balance everything when you go straight from practice and then you come home and you look at the mountain of homework that you have to do. But you find a way, which I think is going to be helpful later on in life, especially in college when the classes are going to get exponentially harder.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. And then in the fall, you do plan to go to college?
Yep.
And what's your plan as far as a major or what you want to do in the future?
Depending on the college, it changes up a little bit, but definitely something in business. Most of the schools that I applied to, I applied as an economics major, and I was planning on double majoring in finance as well.
Okay.
So.
That's great.
High-powered. One of the things I saw in your bio that you worked as a Chelmsford open space steward.
Yeah.
What is that and what did you do? And where?
So I started as a freshman because my neighbor, Phil Stanway, is on the board for that. And he, it's kind of like a community service thing. I knew that I wanted to be in National Honor Society, so I originally started to rack up hours for that. But I found that I really enjoyed it. I actually wrote my college essay about it.
What is it?
And there's this farm in Chelmsford called Sunny Meadow Farm. So I go down there, I mow the lawns a lot. But this guy, Phil Stanway, has had me lead multiple events. I've helped out with a bunch of Eagle projects, especially with kids in the school. I've painted sheds. I led an organizational day with the Chinese Bible Church of Greater Lowell. And I also led an art day, which I created by myself with the Chelmsford Summer Quest group, where I took them on a tour of the farm, and then I had them make like these paper plate flowers that we put all around the greenhouses. So it's been really fun. It's taught me a lot. It's very different doing manual labor, especially when you aren't getting paid. So you kind of need to, sometimes you need to will yourself through it. And you know, some of the things you pick up, like I'd pick up a brick and there'd be a huge worm underneath it and it was kind of disgusting. But overall, it's been a great experience.
Must be very rewarding though.
Yeah, it feels great afterwards.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, I want to say that on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, congratulations on being a Student of the Month. And on behalf of the Chelmsford administration, we're really proud of you and the work you've been doing, and you're quite busy. We look forward to hearing about your successes in the future.
Yeah.
So best of luck the rest of the year.
Can I quickly give a shout out?
Please do.
I'd like to shout out Bilver. That's for my boy, Calvin Silver. He told me to do that last block. So that's it. You can clip that. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our latest edition of Lions Pride. I want to thank our deans for their thoughtful words and beautiful summaries of each recipient. I would also like to thank the Chelmsford Rotary Club for their unending support of this great program. Congratulations to all of this month's Students of the Month. On behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary and the deans, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.